Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and today we're going to be watching the new episode of Death Battle that just came out, Aang the Avatar from Avatar The Last Airbender versus the Traveler Aether from Genshin Impact. I think this is definitely going to be a very interesting watch for me. I'm not the most attached to either of these series, particularly not Genshin Impact, but I'm still excited to see what Death Battle has for us. You know, getting more information about characters is always a great thing about Death Battle for me, and if we get a really good episode on top of that, then hey, even better. Now, I do think that the timing of this episode is not the best considering the stuff that's coming out for these characters or literally just came out for these characters, because even if it doesn't change the outcome, it does mean that the analyses are kind of like immediately incomplete, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's great, but at the same time, I don't know how much control Death Battle really had over this or what was convenient for them or not, so I don't want to assume anything. Either way, this is what we're getting right now, and I just gotta roll with it. And I'm not gonna take up too much time talking about my roots and bets here because I think it's all pretty straightforward and probably shared with a lot of other people too. I'm definitely rooting for Aang. I think he's a very cool character. Like I alluded to earlier, I am generally more familiar with him and his series. Simply put, it's hard not to root for Aang, at least for me, you know? But at the same time, I do also very much think that the Traveler is going to win. I know Death Battle's analyses can sway me, but generally speaking, I think that the Traveler should be physically superior to Aang by a decent margin. Like, I think best case scenario for Aang and worst case scenario for the Traveler, they would be about even in terms of physical stats or in terms of like power and speed, but realistically, under most like sensible interpretations, I think the Traveler should be way past Aang in terms of power and maybe speed as well. We'll see what Death Battle says about that. And I think his overall arsenal and abilities are a little better as well. I know Aang has some abilities that the Traveler doesn't have, at least after he goes into the Avatar state, but I think generally speaking, the Traveler's advantages in this fight are by wider margins and are more important for winning the fight, you know what I mean? I am curious to see if Death Battle thinks that Aang's energy bending could depower the Traveler. I'm currently thinking that it won't, but frankly, even if it could, I don't think it's going to circumvent everything else. But of course, I'm not the one analyzing all of this, so without further ado, let's get to watching. Alrighty, Aang versus Traveler.
Versus Aether, the Traveler.
Basically rounding off the Kickstarter matchups, aside from one of them.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons,
Armor, and skills to see who would win a death battle. Alright, show me what you got, guys.
Water, earth, fire, air.
Heart.
Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony, united by a master of the elements, the Avatar.
This Avatar reincarnated as
basic stuff, but they gotta start with it. I feel like everybody knows this story, right? At least the origin.
First, of course, thanks to his master and guardian, Yatso.
As a cheeky little air nomad, Aang traveled the world causing shenanigans, all while learning to control the winds with airbending.
Based on the real-life martial art Bagua Zhang, airbending is the
yeah,
most
that's so
spiritual
cool that they
form
base it off of
style,
real-world stuff.
focusing on evading and diverting attacks through circular motions. With even the smallest movement, Aang can create tornadoes, run like the wind, and block hypersonic explosions.
Run like the wind, bullseye.
For a twinkle-toed goofball like Aang. He even
Master of
invented his own
penguin
technique,
sledding, very
the
good.
air scooter. How does he not fall off that thing?
Don't question it. You'll be questioning everything else.
You know how it goes. Everything changed when the
Fire Nation attacked. Yep.
Conquest spread. War was inevitable, and Aang was the only one who could save the world.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with all that. And
No,
being forcibly separated
the reluctant
from Yatso.
protagonist.
He was just a kid. So he
Yeah,
froze
you
up.
can't blame him
Like,
though, yeah.
Literally, he accidentally froze himself in his adorable Sky Bison Appa for 100 years.
Until he was awakened by the Water Tribe siblings Katara and Sokka. Time wasn't kind to Aang's people. With no Avatar to keep balance, the Airbenders, Aang's entire culture, were wiped out by the Fire Nation.
Oh, that's rough, buddy.
Yeah, this is a kid's
But
show,
Aang took the wake
but a
up
damn
call
good
to heart.
one.
As the Avatar, it's Aang's duty to understand the world's people, learning their cultures, their sadness, joy, and humanity.
And what better way to do that than learning how they kick ass?
From the Northern Water Tribe and his twin crush, Aang learned waterbending. Themed around fluid Tai Chi movements, this style controls
The
liquid in
visuals
all
here are
forms to
kinda
freeze
popping
targets,
off.
create water whips, and even cut through steel.
Learning earthbending was way tougher, but Aang's friend Toph taught him to stop being a
I like how it's just
pushover.
energy bending
Now
at the
he can
bottom.
burn himself in stone, move the terrain of entire cities, and fight blind with a sonar-style seismic sense.
Earthbending is themed around the steady stances of Hung
Just
Kuen
trying to
Kung
read
Fu,
everything.
waiting for the right moment to strike head-on.
There was a lot to learn, but even with the world at stake and this moody hothead on his tail, Aang had fun doing it. Who
doesn't
forget
love
the
Zuko?
adventures penguin sledding, going through the bending bayous, and living in Ba Sing Se, the city where no wars ever happened.
Yet across his journey, one power eluded Aang, the Avatar state. An enhanced mode
Wow,
of
we're getting
being
into
that
this
came
right
to him in
away.
moments of peril.
Sure, if Aang dies in it, the Avatar cycle ends permanently, but who cares when it gives you enough power to wipe out a whole
Well,
Navy
who cares
fleet?
if you don't
Come on,
die?
Boomstick.
Yeah.
The Avatar state is more than
Oh, hi,
just a
Jocelyn.
power amp.
Jocelyn, how long have you been standing there?
I've been here the whole time.
I lurk where all Avatar talk is.
Through the cosmic power of the avatars before him and the ancient spirit Rava, Aang gains the knowledge and experience of all previous avatars, greatly expanding
Dates back
his
approximately
bending
10,000
options.
years, yep.
Lava bending from Avatar Roku, sonic shouts from Avatar Yang Chen, and
Ooh.
even more are theoretically available to him through their memories.
Yeah,
Oh, I get it.
realistically.
You can't just grind your way to controlling the Avatar state.
Right. If Aang wanted to stop Fire Lord Ozai, he needed something else.
He needed onion banana juice.
Yeah, technically, I suppose.
Yeah.
Gross.
Specifically, Aang sought the guidance of Guru Patek. Mastering his power meant clearing his chakras, emptying his mind of earthly attachments.
golem form,
Seems simple, but this also meant rejecting his feelings for Katara, the person he loved most.
Oh,
When he
poor
had to
guy.
choose between the world or the girl, Aang followed his heart, and it didn't end well.
He got better. Aang was determined to understand.
I mean, if he
the
didn't,
world's
yeah,
weak,
that would be
even
pretty
the
bad
fire
for a kid's show.
Something he accomplished thanks to the redeemed Prince Zuko, the Sun Warriors.
And these two honking dragons! Aang was scared of firebending, but it's totally awesome. It's not just about burning and blowing shit up. Okay, well it is, but there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
Formed from the explosive movements of Shaolin Kung Fu, firebending.
Yeah, they have
controls
one for
all
each
manner
element
of
that's so
and through
cool.
the teachings of fire and water, he can redirect lightning bending, a burst of atmospheric discharge shot at over 200,000 miles per hour.
Right,
Iroh,
step
the
leader of
best
lightning.
uncle ever, used his techniques to redirect natural lightning. So, you know it's the real deal.
Yeah.
Not crazy enough? At his peak, Aang surpassed benders who could throw buildings, melt stone, and hold up this gigantic library solo. Whooping Ozai's butt should be no problem, right?
Not exactly.
Yeah, like it's
You
a
see,
little
the
more
air
complicated
nomads
than
were
that.
pacifists who believed in the value of life above all. Being the last airbender, Aang didn't think his people were truly gone unless he went back on their teachings. Meaning, he really didn't want to kill Ozai.
So, what? He's
Well, he didn't
just
wanna
a
kill
coward
anyone.
now? Mr. Firelord is about to burn down the entire Earth Kingdom.
Not at all. Are you even listening? Aang was simply at odds with what he wanted and what the world expected, so he needed to make a choice.
Right. In his greatest challenge yet,
I like how
Aang
they're
discovered
focusing on
his
this a
true
lot.
self, making his spirit unbendable and finally mastering the Avatar state.
Making him as strong as avatars who could cause hurricanes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions.
Or in Avatar Kyoshi's case, a new
Yes.
island.
Kyoshi
As they
Island.
broke off nearly 30 square miles of a peninsula to form a new landmass. But to defeat Ozai, Aang needed one final.
So they're not
element,
calculating it
something
yet,
few avatars had
but we
done
have
before.
seen them calculate it
Energy.
before.
Not the easiest thing to do, but Aang totally overwhelmed Ozai, severing the tyrant's connection to fire and stopping his invasion, all while keeping his no-kill run intact. The ultimate FU to this warlord's ideology.
Now that the Fire Nation
Yeah,
had
good job, man.
cooled off,
Ugh.
Aang led a new era of peace with the United Republic of Nations, a place where all people could prosper, and where a new generation and a new avatar would take the reins.
He even
Yep,
got
hi,
hitched with
Korra.
Katara. Take that, Zutara shippers.
I will end you.
For all his doubts, Aang fulfilled the Avatar's destiny and then some, and he did it in a way that was true to who he was.
Because before being the Avatar, or even an Airbender, the greatest thing he could ever be was
Yeah, shave the rest of that
himself,
off.
all in a day's work for a free, fun-loving kid.
Yeah, good job, Aang. So that was some pretty nice writing, but now we move over to Traveler.
Welcome to Tevat, a mysterious land governed by godly.
This is one where I have to
archons
make sure I
that
really
guide
pay attention to
someone
everything
beyond
so I
the
don't miss
stars.
anything.
Aether.
aka the Traveler, who escaped his dying world with his sister
Age
Lumine
thousands.
in search of the
We don't know
flowers
for
that bloom on
sure.
their lost home, only to crash land, awaken to an apocalypse, and get cubed by this jerk.
Separated from his sister, Aether awoke, again, in a new, less apocalyptic age, and fished up his own pathetic pet pixie, Paimon.
Yeah, she makes for good emergency food. With his new guide, Traveler to the windy country of Mondstadt to find his link to the past, but got a Breath of the Wild glider instead.
And his first
Sure, why
element,
not?
Animo, letting him make
Any
air
little bit
slashes,
helps.
tornadoes, and of course,
Windblade! But guess what? Traveler wasn't the only one with a power like this. Tevat was full of blessed people wielding these relic things called visions.
Vision bearers can imbue their weapons and bodies with elemental power, summon items, and use a special, well, vision to perceive the elements around them.
Normally, they're limited to a single element, but Traveler is just built different. Through Paimon's guidance, he began collecting elements from mysterious statues.
Well, he can use
across
all
the
of
map.
them.
No vision relic needed for him.
Even the one that
Each
isn't
nation
out
had
yet.
A new culture, a new element, a new crisis.
And new character banners. When asked to play a sleuth for a murder case in Liyue, Traveler wasn't interested. A corpse couldn't tell him where his sis was, but he was roped in anyway and got the Geo ability to form rock constructs and eruptions of Earth.
Right, yeah. They have different names, but like we have the 4 basic elements and a little bit more.
And their Archon either, until he saw the suffering caused by its tyrannical rule, and joined the resistance with electro abilities, fighting the powers that be using electric buzzsaws, thunder blades, and lightning.
He even learned to dodge lightning. Other electro users like my wife Lisa can conjure storms. No shock when my adopted daughter Klee made explosions that raised mountains. Traveler met all kinds of people like this. You know the type. Twinks.
Yeah, Tevat has its own laws.
So we have
Boomstick.
Ringmaster on the
Maybe
Genshin
two
side. That's
Winds being
interesting.
One of them. Maybe 2 or 3 of them actually.
Ringmaster.
Shut up, Wiz. This guy's been playing.
What's wrong with
Genshin
Ringmaster,
since launch.
Wiz?
I know everything there is to know about the Genshin meta. Either connects elements for different reactions. Basically, big elemental combinations.
Yeah.
Geo crystallizes materials into special barriers. Electro mixed with water stuns foes. Animo spreads elements around in swirls of destruction. Boom!
Like how I
A lot of
can
area of
fight
effect
gunpowder.
attacks.
Exactly, Boomstick. Using
Or, like,
Dendro,
status
Traveler
effects
can
and
form
such.
Plant life that, when mixed with water and lightning, makes homing beams. Yeah.
There's a lot of combination going on there.
With clever thinking and artifact farming, you can combine anything in Genshin.
Okay, we get it. Go lose another 50-50, you whale.
I'll show you a
Damn,
way
dude.
lap next time you're not looking.
In Sumeru, Traveler later beat Scaramouche, an edgy catboy with multiple elements at his fingertips, all in a time loop that got repeated 168 times.
Speaking of time,
Okay.
Aether had control of more than just his own future. Tevat's fate fundamentally changed in ways small and grand, all through his unending willpower.
Because the Traveler was a descender, someone unbound by the land's destiny. Even this big tree that records all of the world's events had no idea he existed.
Like when he helped
Wow.
defy the judgment of a biblical flood.
What
in
an
Fontaine,
anomaly.
Where he mastered Hydro for his best Cuphead impression with water bolts.
Heck, a dinosaur chose not to blow up the world just because Paimon and Traveler befriended it. If that wasn't cool
That's
enough,
so cool,
Traveler
man.
then, unrelated, turn into a dinosaur. Hell yeah. Yo, look at him.
Oh, I doubt we're
Wonder
gonna
if I
see.
could
Well,
get a
I mean, if we
dinosaur
do
in
see
my
that in the
Genshin
animation,
team.
that'd be
Through
awesome.
These legally distinct Pokemon, Aether can fly, dig through the earth, or charge foes like a Jurassic bull. He traveled across the land, searching far and wide, and finally stopped swinging that 1-star dull blade.
Instead, picking up the prototype
Yeah.
Rancor, which he
got other
wields like
swords.
beast
Yeah, a
thanks
lot
to
of
the
swords.
Swordmaster Skirk, and several straight days of training. What a grind set.
He's
Still,
got essential
Traveler
oils
says
too.
people eluding him,
Good.
choosing to hang in the shadows with these Gluminati folk.
A group from Conria, the nation cursed by the gods for messing with the Abyss. Unbeknownst to Aether, his sister had already traveled to Vat in a journey that mirrored his own.
And at the end, she found... Well, we don't really know. Not yet, at least. But whatever it is,
Yeah,
got her
go
to side with
figure.
the creepy villains. Lot twist.
Eventually, Aether reached the nation of Natlan to fight in its never-ending war with the Abyss. He gained the Pyro element, learning to launch fireballs and explosions combined of flame with lightning.
He didn't just dabble in fancy pyrotechnics. By connecting with the people there, Traveler achieved Night Soul's Blessing, a power-up state.
It's a lot of specific terms where it's like, okay, I kind of just have to roll with it.
Fire hundreds of feet long. Hell yeah, that's strong enough to take down the heart of the abyss, which is on the level of 5-star waifus like Mawika and the Raiden Shogun.
An Archon who, in ages past, sliced Yashiori Island in two.
Yep.
That's cool, but how about when this Venti guy threw a whole-ass mountain? According to Paimon,
We've
Traveler
seen
can
throwing
level
mountains
the mountain
before.
himself.
Additionally, Aether learned how to use light energy to form a Kuvaki shield, something he used to protect the people of Nodcry by blocking a cannon blast with enough energy to obliterate a town.
This was no ordinary
And that's
cannon either.
yeah, how fast
It
is that?
also uses Kavaki energy, so that's a beam of light.
Yeah, okay, that's really important. That was the main thing I was thinking for potential
Maybe
light
one day
scaling
he
for the
will
Traveler.
reunite with his sister, but for now, he's fighting for a whole new world, his new home.
Ooh, you need a higher adventure rank for that.
Don't you worry, gang. I dumped all my savings into Primo Gems for this. We can't
Always
make
does
those
his dailies
guys
for the
trying to kill
guild.
the Traveler inevitably
Some of this is quite
warm up
wholesome.
to
I
me.
like this.
Still got it.
Ah. So that's
Isn't
why
that the
you're
person who
broke
Greg
as
Heffley
shit.
voices?
To Aether, the journey has meaning. The birds of Tevet, the songs of its people, they are all part of it. Even if he's against the abyss itself, a new dawn is somewhere just beyond the stars, and a field of flowers Lumine too loved.
Some of this writing's very nice.
All right, the combatants are set.
Now we have to talk
We've
about
run the day
this.
through all possibilities.
It's
Time for a death battle! And can we pause it, please? Yes, okay, we can. So, talking about this matchup. So, I can't really say my opinion has changed necessarily. I don't really think they went as in depth as they could have. The one thing I noticed very quickly is that they did not calculate Kyoshi Island, you know, Kyoshi breaking off the island. They didn't calculate that or anything. But they also didn't calculate Raiden Shogun slicing apart the island. There were other things that were just brought up, like, you know, creating the tsunami on Aang's side and, you know, leveling mountains and such on the Traveler's side. But there wasn't that much as far as, like, specific numbers. The only thing specifically is, like, speed. I don't think there's anything that would suggest that Aang has, like, light timing reactions or anything. And they pretty well said that, you know, the Traveler was able to intercept a beam that is light. So even if it's not exactly light speed, even if it's more like relativistic or a small percentage of relativistic, you know, lightning timing, at least as far as the step leader, is 1/3000th the speed of light, give or take. So regardless of how the Traveler compares to that beam of light, it should be faster than Aang. I'm pretty damn sure. I don't think there's anything Aang has that can match that level of speed, unless you're trying to be very generous with the Avatar state. Maybe, I guess you could say, like, by a certain amount of, like, a similar level of how much more powerful he gets, you could say that's how fast he gets as well. Even still, though, I'm anticipating the Traveler is still probably going to be faster generally. And in terms of power, yeah, like I said, we have the island stuff, we have, like, the mountain stuff on Traveler's side, we have stuff like tsunami, the volcanic eruption or whatnot. But I do think there is still higher scaling to come for the Traveler. I don't think they should just cap him at, like, mountain or island level. That seems kind of weird to me. But as far as the abilities, I also noticed they didn't really mention energy bending, or at least they didn't put a big emphasis on it, so I'm not thinking that's going to work on the Traveler. So, like, that's, like, the one main thing I think that Aang has for, like, ending the fight, and that's just not really something they talked about much, so I don't think it's going to come up very much in the conclusion. And I do generally think that, yeah, the combinations of the elements that Traveler can make, and, you know, the status effects, the area of effect attacks, I think those are just going to prove to be better for him in the long run, you know? Again, with him being thousands of years old, witnessing the birth and death of stars, I do think there is an argument to be made for him being more experienced than even Avatar state Aang, but again, also not really something that they focused on that much. Of course, I could be missing things, but really what it seems like is they're waiting to give a lot of, like, the major calculations for the end, and with that I still have to anticipate that the Traveler is going to win then, because I don't think there's any interpretation where it's like they have to wait because it's so obvious who takes power, and it's Aang who takes power. You know, he takes it by so much of a degree that we can't even give any numbers ahead of time, you know? Like, I definitely don't think there's any interpretation that favors that idea, but there are definitely interpretations that favor the idea that they can't give it away because Traveler is so much stronger, right? So I don't really have that much to say. Like I said, I feel like there are some things they didn't talk about in depth that much, so it's hard for me to talk about what I think they're going to emphasize a lot, but really I think a lot of this is going to come down to they have to to bring out some more calculations, and that is ultimately going to favor the Traveler. But we'll see what happens. Let's watch this battle. Oh wow, another fight where we're really just jumping in. I am excited for the banter between these characters.
2 elements?
Yeah, like that. That stuff's great. Ooh. Oh, okay. Hey, there we go! Yeah, have you met Appa? He's just riding him. Oh, man. Yeah, he has experience with all this. Also, the vocals for this track aren't bad. Holy crap. Okay, makes sense. Size makes sense for the smoke screen. The colors, too. Yeah, the status effects, I think, are going to be a bit of an issue.
What's going on?
Oh, and she's here, too.
For 2 minutes now, everything is going kaboom.
And Appa. Okay, this is very cute. This is fun. And it looks beautiful.
Cool glider. Can it do this?
They're just like, you know, having fun. Ooh. Got some moves. Imagine drowning in that thing. Giving him a run for his money.
Get up! Never, ever, ever stop moving forward. Remember.
No one fights alone.
Well, we haven't seen the Avatar state yet. We know that's coming. So many colors. This has got like one of the most colorful death battles we've ever seen. Oh! There we go. Now show me what you can do.
For those who came before, and those who will follow.
Oh my god!
Aang, the last Airbender.
That's so cool. They're giving him the hype he deserves.
Take this.
Like, oh. That doesn't look good.
Through the heights and shallows. Through infinite dusks and dawns.
Oh no. Aang, are you gonna dodge that? You're not. Oh god. Ouch.
Way to go, Traveler! But does this mean no treasure?
I mean, I knew it was gonna happen, but damn.
And
What a
potatoes
battle
are
that
done.
was.
What a miss.
This was an interesting pairing, so let's break this down by power, experience, speed, and elements.
First up,
Okay.
power. Aang and Traveler could both change the terrain of entire cities, and were way stronger than characters that can break mountains.
Yeah.
But at their peak, they're both tearing up islands.
Aang's avatar state made him on par with Kyoshi, who created and moved the island of Kyoshi.
Yeah.
Similarly, Night Soul's blessing let Aether contend with Archon-level foes like the Raiden Shoga, who split Yashiori Island in two.
I feel
With
like
an
there's
attack that
more
even
for the
Vision
Traveler,
Bearer's
though.
weaker than Traveler can block, so he's definitely on that level.
Kyoshi Island is over 6 miles wide and long.
Well, regardless,
Kyoshi
let's see
moved
what
the
they say
island
for all
17
this.
miles offshore in 2 seconds. So we have everything we need to calculate the amount of kinetic energy this would require.
Yeah.
Turns out it's basically the same as cutting through Yashiori Island, about 3,000 gigatons of TNT. So their power is tied up.
Which means
Okay,
comparing
I
their
feel like there's more,
experience
even if it's more
is crucial.
hypothetical, there's
Mastered
definitely more you
elements
could throw
than
out for the
Aang,
Traveler,
the
but
Avatar state gave Aang
okay.
centuries of knowledge.
With the memories and abilities of past avatars, Aang's kit was so extensive in a way Aether had no real answer for.
Not to mention,
For some of the
his
attacks,
training
yeah.
was more focused. Traveler is skilled, sure, but his training was mostly just a means to finding his sister, while Aang's journey was all about mastering elements to combat other elements.
Experience narrowly goes goes to Aang.
Okay.
However, another
I guess for like
important factor to
specific
consider
experience
is
in
speed.
this
In
fight,
terms
makes
of mobility,
sense.
both could roughly match the other. If Traveler was immobilized with earthbending, he could just dig his way out as a dinosaur.
And
Yeah.
Aang's airbending and glider meant he could easily counter Aether if he took flight.
But in terms of raw reaction speed, Traveler had it in the bag. Aang bending away lightning is crazy fast, but Traveler could dodge lightning much earlier in his journey, and now
And
he
got
can block
faster.
that Lightspeed Kuvaki laser.
Yeah.
While lightning
They
can move
weren't
over
hiding that.
200,000
Not that they
miles per
should
hour,
have, but
a beam of
made it
light
pretty
can move
obvious.
186,000 miles per second.
Over 3,000 times faster.
There you
than
go.
Aang.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Traveler
One
takes
one
speed
3,000.
by a landslide.
So this all came down to the elements. Who could turn the forces of nature against the other?
At first, I actually thought this was Aang's dub.
Aether's elemental control is remarkable,
not quite.
but most of his attacks are projectiles, spires, and very specific implements that Aang has bent away in the past. Aether
That's
has
fair.
never shown the precision or creative flexibility that we've seen with Aang's bending.
But throw in the combos of elemental reactions and the script flips.
Yeah,
Traveler could mix
he can
not just
combine
his
them
elements,
so
but
much more
also Aang's
effectively.
in ways that Aang could not. Bending was Aang's greatest strength, but also, against Traveler, a weakness.
Because Aang usually had one or more elements around him, it gave Aether an easy access point through these combinations. When Aang used
Gotcha.
fire, Aether could use lightning to catch him in an overload. If Aang used water, Traveler's electrocharge could paralyze him, and so on.
This
Yeah.
isn't just a gameplay thing. Genshin characters like the lovely Lisa canonically say this is how the elements work.
Yeah.
Unlike Aang, Aether has fought multiple people who can use multiple elements. The longer the fight went on, the more Aether would trip Aang up with these combinations, some of which Aang could not bend.
Aang could
Yeah, he
redirect
couldn't- he
lightning,
couldn't
sure,
defend
but
against
what
at
about
all.
Electro buzzsaws, or an electrified tornado, or dendroblasts of pure plant energy.
Koda's shield especially gave Aether a strong defense to fall back on. Since it was made
That's
of
true.
pure light, Aang had no way to remove it outside of brute force.
By comparison, Aang's wind barrier wouldn't block Traveler's elements. It would actually merge with them and create more combos that would target Aang himself. Not a
Interesting.
great situation to be in.
And since Aether's powers came from external earthly sources, like those statues, Aang could not depower him with energy bending.
Okay, that's what I was
Theoretically
thinking.
Overcame Aether's
I must have missed that they even really brought that up. But either way, yeah, didn't think it would really matter.
Sorry, Aang, but elements goes to the Traveler, cinching his victory. Either way you cut it, he was in his element.
The winner is
I
the
like
Traveler.
either way you cut it. Congratulations, Aether.
Okay, I'm ready for my cameo.
Right, we get everybody in there. Sorry, buddy.
Next time on
Okay, next
Death
time, we
Battle.
might have no idea what this is. Yeah, what is that? Oh my god, wait! Is this what I think it is? That's Brick. By Real Brick! It's Bionicle and Lego Ninjago!
Subscribe and join as a member to see more.
But it's not the one that a lot of people usually talk about. When I was thinking like, oh, you know, we have Ninjago and Bionicle, I'm usually thinking like, Lloyd versus Takanuva. But they're going in a different direction with that. Okay, that's interesting. Kai versus Toatahu. I'm gonna have to double check how to pronounce that name. But okay, so we are getting this. I don't know if they can feasibly do this, but like imagine if this is like some kind of stop motion thing where it's like the actual size of, or maybe not like literally stop motion, but animated to look like it's the literal toys fighting. Like if it's something along those lines, oh my god, that's gonna be so cool. So yes, definitely something that we did not expect. The only other thing that comes from the Kickstarter is Light versus Columbo, and even then, we might not get that as like a next time trailer. That might be more as like an announcement on Twitter or something. So yeah, I very much thought that this next time was going to be something we had no idea was coming, and I definitely wasn't expecting this. If there was any sort of Ninjago thing that was coming first to Death Battle, I thought a Lloyd matchup or like Mikey versus Jay Walker. Although considering how much they've doubled up on series, I don't know if this means that we can now rule out Mikey versus Jay. It may still happen, but we are getting Ninjago. That's something that a lot of people have been looking forward to for a while. And Bionicle, I know, gets kind of crazy as far as the lore and some of the events of the story. So that's going to be really fun to look at. Okay, definitely a surprise, but I'm pretty down for it. I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. I'll definitely have a prediction out for it sometime, either like tomorrow or the day after. I'll get it done when I get it done as usual. But now let's talk about this battle. The only thing I wish they did a bit differently as far as the conclusion was going a bit deeper into the full extent of Traveler's power. I understand what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to throw out feats that are pretty comparable for both of these characters, make it easy for the general audience to understand, especially since power didn't end up affecting the outcome anyway. Like, whether Traveler was more powerful or he was the same level of power, it didn't end up mattering, you know? However, as I've said before, I'm not really the biggest fan of when Death Battle does that, because I think the point of a Death Battle analysis should be to analyze the characters as accurately as possible, regardless of what matchup you put them in. And I do very much feel like there are other feats or other like joint feats, at least, that the Traveler has with other characters that would ultimately allow him to scale higher. Maybe there was stuff that they said in the black boxes. I didn't really have enough time to read much of that, so I'll definitely go back and look at that and see if there's higher scaling they potentially bring out for the Traveler. But, you know, again, for the purposes of this, I understand why they do it. I just prefer when death battles are more in-depth. You know, they try to leave no stone unturned for the characters themselves, just in a vacuum, regardless of it being a versus debate. This is still an analysis for Traveler, period, right? So you should still try to say the best things he has. Or maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you don't even think there's better stuff, but like from what I understand, there should be significantly higher scaling that the Traveler can get. So to kind of just, you know, not talk about any of it, unless again they did bring it up in the black boxes, but you know, it's still something I kind of wish they maybe put a bit more focus on. But other than that, this was a very enjoyable experience, honestly. Like, I really enjoy how the analyses focused so much on these characters, you know, motivations and personalities. I think Death Battles should always do that, because it's not just respect threads the series, you're also analyzing the characters in general, you know what I mean? So I think they should always talk about personalities and motivations, but with these characters especially, I think it was incredibly important to do so, and I'm really happy they put as much focus on that as they did. Did it take away maybe from like talking extensively about their abilities? Maybe, but I still think, you know, as far as it benefiting the conclusion, like what they brought up later, they still brought up enough good stuff in the pre-analyses, so don't really have an issue with that. And the fight itself was also really fun. There were a lot of cool action implemented in there, a lot of cool moments that really made me go like, oh my god, look at that. You know, it was so colorful. The banter was fun too, like them talking and just having fun, comparing their skills to each other sometimes. Like, that was all such a great time. So this is a battle where I definitely want to watch it again to make sure I like catch everything. But man, like, that was actually really enjoyable. It's something where it's like I want to learn even more about Genshin now, honestly. And I do like how they tried to put a lot of respect towards Aang. Like, even though he did have to eventually die, like they gave him that little monologue closer to the end, and you know, the drawn out like avatar state, you know, building up sort of thing. It was really nice that they did that. Overall, I thought the script writing was pretty good. Like, again, Death Battle I think has just generally gotten better at writing their scripts in a way that's really captivating, you know, using language in a way that really keeps you on the edge of your seat, that really keeps you listening, because, you know, the death battles shouldn't be so formulaic that you kind of just tune that stuff out, right? So I think that's really important. I think they did a really good job here. So is this like one of my favorites of the season? Not committing to anything yet, because we have to wait until the rest of the season is over, and of course this is just my initial reaction, but I can say that I probably enjoyed that more than I thought I was going to. They really went like above and beyond with the visual presentation, and I think the way that they understood these characters in the analyses as well was really solid. So I don't have too many things to say negatively about this episode. I thought it was a really well done production, and I hope that even the people who were skeptical about this matchup and, you know, really didn't want it to happen or whatever, can still enjoy it for some of the things that it has. You don't have to enjoy it if you legitimately don't, but don't force yourself to not enjoy it just because you feel like, oh, I can't like this matchup or whatever. Like, I still got a decent amount of enjoyment out of this, to be honest, like a very decent amount of enjoyment. So I am very happy to say all of that. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Who do you think should have won? Let me know down in the comments below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, comment your comments, subscribe if you could too. That would be amazing. That would really help the channel out. And of course, huge thanks to all the channel members. You guys are the best. But no matter what, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.